What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to be taking a look at a vintage figure that I bought about a year ago, back in 2025 at a local toy show. And this came out in 1988, and it is from Kenner, one of my favorite vintage toy lines to collect. And this is from a line called Bone Age. Now, I do have other reviews of other figures from this particular line in a playlist, so if you're interested in watching those, please check out the playlist. And also, when I bought this guy, actually, I got it really cheap, and some of the tabs were broken, and I knew that going in, and so I had to replace some of them. So the only thing I really replaced is the tail and one of the feet in the front. And it did come with the instructions, and he came with this little guy. No, it didn't come with the caveman, because I did have to buy him separately. And so I just recently got him just so I can have him for the review and everything. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we're going to take a look at the instructions. And it says Bone Age, the complete action system. So this is a little torn, and it's not all the way. I don't have all of it. So this is like, I'm missing like a third of it. So this is pretty much what I have. So if I'm able to find another one, I'll purchase that, because I want a complete one. And all the other instructions that came with the other ones that I have, they're all real nice and everything. So this is like an ugly, torn, taped together looking thing. So, but hey, it'll do. I'll take it, But like I said, if I find another one, then I'll pick it up, But anyway, so it just basically shows you everything you need to do. It talks about the tabs and everything. So that's the only thing that's downside about these particular figures, is that the tabs right here, there's a very brittle and they break off easily. So if you're buying them, just be careful and know what you're getting and check all the tabs, because some of them might be broken and you might not know that. But but if you know what you're looking for and everything, so you know that these tabs can be very brittle at times. So that is the figure, and that's what it looks like, not assembled. And so there's a little bit of it right there. And then here on the back, it gives you how you can transform these modular parts into like different vehicles and things like that. So I'm not going to do that. I would like to buy others just so I could be able to make the other modular stuff like the vehicles and shit. So, but yeah, that is the instructions, some of it. So here we have the rider that it comes with. So this is Thund, the Thunderous, and he is the chief of the Ice Clan. Now, he is a little loose, and that's because he's a little, his seam right here isn't all the way. So you could tell that it's opened a little bit. So let's go ahead and try to brighten it up a little bit. But yeah, the seam isn't all the way closed. That's fine. I mean, I knew that going in. The guy told me. He said, look, the little seam. That's fine. Because he's not easy to get by itself. He's pretty pricey. So I got a pretty good deal on it. So the guy gave me a nice little discount on it, just because of the fact that the seam was open. So I wasn't tripping over it. But this is the accessory it comes with. So we're going to take a look at this first. So this is like the mask that it comes with. And what this is, I don't know. It looks like it's a carnivore. They have little spikes on the back. It has to be a baby, because this ain't no full-grown dino. So whatever it is, but it's very cool looking. I do like the design. It's very nice detail, everything. Look at the little detail there. So it's just a little gray plastic, So I do like the bone texturing that they gave it, as they should. And then the figure itself, Thund. So a little discoloration right there, but I think they're all like that for the most part. least the ones I've seen. And so there's this blonde hair and beard. So these are like 2 inches tall, not even that probably. So but these are little figures. Fur, you know, singlet, furry singlet that he's wearing. And so there is the tattoo. I don't know how well y'all could see that, but that is the tattoo of the Ice Clan. So that lets you know that to distinguish from the different clans and stuff. So, but as far as a way of articulation for him, it's just head goes side to side, the arms go all the way around. There's no waist or thigh swivel or anything like that, and then the legs go up and down. So basically, your basic 5 POA, you know, figure. So that's cool, and of course, you know, the helmet just goes on right like that. So very neat. All right, so let's bring out the main event. This is Tritops, and this is a big figure, and he's heavy too. So, all right. So as you could tell, it's very large. Let's see if we can't. There we go. So it's a very large, and you could tell that some of it is discoloration, but I think they're all like that for the most part. Like especially here in the middle, where the spine is, and then some on the horns, they're a little bit discoloration. Because I don't remember seeing any of them that's being for sold or in person that they were all the same color. And I think some of them are like that, you know. Stegosaurus is like that too. Some of their parts are discoloration, and you can tell that some of this is really loose as far as the tabs aren't broken, but they're not snug fit, you know. Like this is, you know, you can move it a little bit, but here's is like all really loose, you know. Just the hind legs, they're like that. I don't know why. The head's kind of loose a little bit, you know. But like I said, the pieces are fine, you know. They snapped in perfectly, but for whatever reason, they're just a little wobbly. So you kind of have to be careful with that if you're looking to add this to your collection. But this is a very large head, so you can check that out. So it's elongated snout here and the horns right here. Instead of being on top right there, it's all right here at the bottom. Here's the 2 elongated horns right there. And right here, this is where you can set your rider right there. And then, you know, there's the neck pieces there. Of course, there's the rib cage with the legs right here that snap in. Here's the spine. And then here in the back, here are the back legs and then the tail. And so then there's the hip bones right there, the thighs. And then here are the wheels. Down here is the wheels right there. And that's just added pieces so you can make your vehicle, you know. Like I said, these are modular parts, and you can just like build and create vehicles and stuff from them. And then you can add them to your other Bone Age dinosaurs and stuff. So, but yeah, this thing is huge. I like how they had exaggerated the hip bones right there. Right there. So, but yeah, I had to replace the tail because the front pieces were broken. Like I said, I knew that going in, so I knew that there was going to be pieces I would have to purchase. I think it was this one too that was broken that I had to replace. I had to replace one of the front legs. And so right here, it does have an action feature. So if you look right here, this is where the 2 buttons, tabs right there. And so you just, I think they work. Press down, there goes one. And then you press down, and there goes the other one right there. So very cool. And it's actually pretty strong. So it's not that bad. So they just snap in. like I said, you got to be very careful with these. Let me grab the other one. Almost lost that one. So, yeah, overall, this is a great piece for anybody that's looking to add these things to the collection. There we go. There's a certain way they have to go in. So you can't just add them to a side and then just be okay. You gotta be able to push them in a certain way. So it's not as easy as it looks, or at least for me, it's not. So that's what I'm talking about right here. So over here is fine, but you know, you can tell that the broken tab right there on one of the rib cages. So yeah, you just got to be very careful. And I've seen people, you know, they modified these a little bit to make it to where it's snug fit. I'm not a modification. I don't know how to modify things, so I don't do all that. But yeah, that is Tritops. So, like I said, it's a large, heavy figure. It's a beautiful piece. You know, it's a wonderful addition to the collection, especially to the Bone Age collection, and me being a dinosaur fan. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set the rider here, Thund, right there. So that's where he goes. Just put his little feet there. And of course, back here, that's where his feet will dangle. So what we'll do is we'll just put him down there and set him up like that. I know you can't really see that, but if you see right there, that's where he sits. He sits. His leg sits right there, in between that bone right there. You know, that's going to be a rough ride right there, I think. Especially with his legs dangling like that. Really ain't got no support, you know, as far as if this thing starts moving and walking and stuff, you know. But overall, yeah, that's what he looks like. That's the Thunderous, Thunderous, however pronounce his name, Chief of the Ice Clan. So there you have it. That is a look at Tritops with Thund the Thunderous from the 1988 Kenner Bone Age line. So here's the instructions. So I hope you all enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this particular figure. You know, you looking to add this? Do you want to add this to your collection? Some of them can be pricey. Some of them can be really cheap. I guess it all depends on what you're looking for and what you're needing to add. Just be patient. You know, sometimes they can go up and down. Sometimes you can get them in lots, a bunch of pieces and stuff. So this line, I don't mind having multiples because I like to add a lot of these to the collection. You know, just to have on hand. You know, in case if I want to make a vehicle of the extra pieces that I have and stuff like that. But yeah, so let me know in the comments below what you think of this thing. And don't forget, words of wisdom. Buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.